Mr. Henry, in response, I did come up last week and spent some time looking around the colony within your personal property. It's been this way for the last couple of years, Mr. Henry. I respect you and I respect your complaints, but I don't agree with you. And as far as the stones and everything that were around your surrounding property and the grade of the property next door, I don't see the fencing needed, and I'm sorry, I disagree with you on that.
Well, okay.
Mr. Henry, listen, on regular council meetings, we don't interact. At work sessions, I do interact, and I believe I did try to answer your questions when we were in the closed session room last week. So at regular meetings, it's about trying to get the town business done, and we offer everybody in the public their 5 minutes, and then we'll try to come back and answer the best I can, and if I can't do it the night of, I'll do it the following meeting.
I think you used the charter documents a couple of years ago.
Mr. Henry, there's no interaction. I apologize.
Yeah, but you heard what I said.
We'll see it at the next
So did
work.
everybody else.
They make the rules.
Thank you.
I know.
Mary, I did look into all your concerns. I know that Fort Lee recognized the drain pipe that you had mentioned. They know it's wrong, and they're addressing it. As far as if it's taken care of tonight, I don't have an answer for you, but I know the pictures you showed, Condamo went right up there and took care of it. It's not supposed to be like that, and they're fixing it. I believe at the last meeting, Mary, you questioned who the gentleman from Neglia was. That was Mike Neglia. Contamination of Veterans Field, there is a summary report regarding all the contaminants. And I believe another question was the signs on the fence. We have signs on the fences. I believe they went up the day after the last meeting.
Doesn't say it's contaminated. It just says it's closed.
There's nothing addressing the contaminants?
There's additional signs there that were placed according to DEP regulations, essentially saying that the public's willing to, or welcome to contact the environmental consultant or the DEP directly to inquire as far as specific information.
Where are those signs?
They should be up there, Mary. We ordered about
Up where?
12.
On the fence?
They should be, yes.
Unfortunately, I was, the day after the last work session, Mary, I was driving down Route 5 and I stopped to pull over to speak with the general contractor there to voice my disgust in the look at the cliff like you had the night before. And that is the finished product. And I did tell him I was unhappy with it, and I could have sworn when we had spoken to him down at the recreation center that night.
They're going to dye it.
What's that?
They were going to dye it colors to match.
Well, I think we had mentioned the Bank of America south of us, you know, the stone, what they did on the stonework there. And I mentioned that to him, and to be honest, his response was, listen, if you want to go in for a change order or a work order, go be my guest. He goes, I'll love to come back out here and do it again. And then I said, well, you know, this is what we discussed. He goes, don't even worry about it. The DOT is never going to come out to spray this area. He goes, in another year, it'll be loaded with weeds again. You won't even see the cliffs. And I said, you know, that's the answer I have for, I said I would have actually enjoyed the Palisades. I don't like the way they sprayed them. And he says, go put a new work order in and be ready to pay for it. He'd love to come out and do it.
Just have a great basis for a tax appeal.
I believe your question regarding ferry stops or stop signs, I believe the signs we have up are only where we're picking up the ferry passengers. So there's no, I don't believe there are any signs placed throughout town that say where the stops will be, the drops are.
So if you're dropping somebody, nobody can get on the bus?
I believe I mean, your question was in regards to drop-offs, correct? Maybe I'm mistaken, Mary.
My question was to the traveling on Undercliff Avenue. Where are their stops?
They're not picking up on Undercliff Avenue.
Well, I beg to differ.
There's no formal stops, Mayor. The governing body did approve that by resolution, whereby the bus does go on Undercliff Avenue as well as on several side streets. both picking up and dropping off.
It's door-to-door
Both
service.
picking up and dropping off.
Yes, that's correct.
So where are the signs so I know where to pick it up?
There are no signs on those areas
Then that's the answer.
except for River Road.
Mr. Condano's employment with Englewood Cliffs, I believe you mentioned. He is working for Englewood Cliffs.
Absolutely.
It's not a shared service with the Borough of Edgewater, and it doesn't interfere with the time he's working here. Matt Rinaldi is our new tax assessor. And as far as City Place, Mary, I agree with you, and we're waiting for the final comptroller's report to take action. So that's all I'd have to say to your questions.
And you feel your answer was sufficient?
You had the original
The answer you
reports.
answered, that was sufficient?
What, right now?
No, you had to respond back by September 1st, and your answer that you responded back from
You're talking
Mr.
about
Franz's
the letter.
letter said your two concerns were,
Well, listen, as far as dealing with Art and trying to respond back, we'll see what the comptroller's report says, out of their final report, and we'll deal with it accordingly, but I have the same concerns you do.
but you didn't express it to them. That's my question. You didn't express it to them.
Because he didn't see the letter.
Yeah, well, Mr. Carlson was also sending a letter back, so that's the answer I have to you, Mary. I'm sorry if you don't like it.
No, as a taxpayer, I don't like it.
Okay, I understand. Just, Dennis Gallagher, I'm sorry if I'm stepping out of line as far as answers. Valerie, were you next?
I haven't had answers since you've taken office. You haven't answered me on anything, ever.
As far as, you know what, Valerie, I apologize. I do believe I answer you sometimes, and maybe not at the meeting, but I never hesitate to try and give you an answer on anything. The Waterford polling site, I would just think that the only thing that was mentioned here is for the upcoming election, we wouldn't have time.
Right.
Or the expense that it would cost to change the polling station in the 4th district. I believe that's what was discussed, to try and get it done.
Well-
So I guess you're talking about down the road, that's something we can
Well,
deal with?
I-
I'm talking about we were talking about the November election.
Well,
I apologize. Any other questions? I don't know if I don't try to deprive anybody of an answer, and I think you know that, Val. Dennis, as long as I've been here, Dennis, I started with you. I've never been down here where you had 10 minutes open to the public. Never. It was 5 minutes. As far as the meetings,
Or no limit.
I try to interact on the work sessions, and as far as a regular council meeting, I try to take care of business, and I offer every public member their 5 minutes open to the public.
I understand
If I don't
that,
have the answer that night, I'll make sure I try to get it.
but that's a non-answer. You're not addressing what I said. I'm suggesting that you do something different, not that you keep on doing what you're doing, what you just said you're
But
going to do.
I believe you also said that you think it was 10 minutes before.
It was.
So we could always look at the option. of
unlimited,
this.
I
It was before you were on the council, so I'm saying you do
Okay, well, I
something different.
apologize.
it was actually unlimited.
Yeah, when Brian was mayor.
Barbara, do you have an answer for notice placement to Dennis? He mentioned the notices for the meetings.
Dennis keeps referencing that notices are to be placed in 2 places. I don't know any law that says it's supposed to be posted in 2 places. We posted the agendas and notices that we're required to post. I do it on the website, and we always do it in the main
So it was an
lobby
ordinance.
of the borough hall. In this case, it's down here, which is outside the police department. Mary was correct one meeting where she said it was posted twice. It was referenced in a notice, and that notice, Mary, you are correct. It was referenced, Board of Adjustment said Borough Hall and Police Department boards. But I think what she was probably trying to say is the Borough Hall Bulletin Board, period, meaning outside the police station, because in the last building, we didn't want the notice to be placed upstairs because people were limited to access it. So we moved the big board down to the police lobby. We're going back years ago because that was my idea, to bring it down there where people pretty much had 24/7 access in the police lobby down at the old borough hall. So again, it's downstairs. I don't know of any rule that says that we have to have it in 2 different places. That was referenced here. If there is such a rule, we'd be glad to do it. But right here, it's in the main lobby, down by the police department, because it's 24/7 access. Where if you go upstairs to the old building, there was never, you're not supposed to go through there after that. Dennis, did you want to say something?
Yeah, there's no interaction. There's no
I'm sorry,
interaction.
I'm trying to answer their question. Okay, so
Oh,
that.
wow.
I believe the
Again, I don't
other
have any-
question you had was in regards to the equipment that is down at the ball field, and which unfortunately we don't have access to right now. Once you brought it up, I spoke with Tom Quinn, and I believe he has the ability to purchase that equipment, and if you dispute that, I'm sure there's a certain route, a certain procedure you can take in order to dispute it, but all I've ever received is total compliments with that equipment, and it's unfortunate that the public can't use it right now.
It's not by Edgewater residents.
Well, he doesn't have that ability to spend that much money before coming to the council.